Good evening, everybody. Welcome to live coverage of this fourth round of the season for the CLUB100 iRACING Championship. Back with the GT3s tonight for the second time this season, and around a bit of a classic circuit as well, the NURBURGRING. We're on actually a little bit of a different version of the NURBURGRING. It's the Grand Prix layout mostly, apart from that final chicane. It's the older style chicane. It's a little bit more flowing for the drivers tonight here in the GT3s. Great to be with you once again. Hope you've had a good week so far. I know quite a few drivers, quite a few people tuning in who were at Wilton Mill at the weekend, a 3-day meeting for BUKC qualifiers. I hope if you raced on Friday, you have dried out by now. I've just about dried out from the deluge and the worst qualifier conditions that I've ever seen. The good news for the drivers here tonight is no rain forecast. It's another one which some people might find, oh, it's a bit boring. iRacing, come on, can we have a little bit more variability with the weather, please? But for the drivers on what is going to be a packed grid, 42 drivers in the lobby tonight, I think they're going to be quite thankful that it's cloudy skies, a 1% chance of rain. Apologies on the little graphic there. It's actually 66% humidity. That's what that actually means. It's not going to be a 2/3% chance of rain. Once again, it's not just myself in the DDMM virtual comms box this evening. I am joined by Reeve Taylor. Reeve, good evening. How are you doing? I hear you've got more Liverpool drivers on the grid for this round.
I have indeed. We're like an invasive species, the Scousers, honestly. one turns up and then there's just too many. Either way, we head into round 4 already, the thick of the championship. This is a really, really important part of the season to be getting into. Yeah, really looking forward to tonight. Thank you very much for having me once again.
No, our pleasure. Good evening to George Lawrence, who's cheering on Johnny Pinder and Tom Roberts. Hello to Sky as well, Rethink Racing supporter here. Cheering on Matt Swain. Right, some news that we should cover before we get into qualifying. It's the same format as usual for the GT3s. Time qualifying of 10 minutes in length. That's going to be starting in about 5 minutes' time. And then the 2 40-minute races. We said this might happen after round 3. We've had a lot of new drivers coming into the championship this year. There has been some readjustments of the classes and which drivers are in which class ahead of round 4 and for the rest of the season. I think the best way to probably show you all this is to go through the championship standings, which look a little bit like this. Matt Swain is now a Premier driver. He's had a really good start to the season, 678 points on the board, and performances that have, in terms of the data analytics and all of that business, have triggered that jump from Clubman to Premier. Likewise for Max Andrews, 574 points on the board, and Ronald Grossman. So that's 3 drivers both on their debut season in the CLUB100 iRacing Championship who are no longer Clubmans. They are now Premiers. They are eligible, of course, for the Premier slot to win a prize drive in CLUB100 next year for an SP40 North or CLUB100 Experience race. And, of course, their points from early on in the season carry over. It's still the same points format. It's your overall position that is the key here. Joao Castro, Tom Saunders, Sam Spinell, they're 4th, 5th, 6th at the moment in the top 3 in Clubman. Axel Slijepcevic a little bit further behind. Didn't score particularly well in the GT3 round at Sebring, so we'll be looking to make that a dropped score by the end of the season and power his way back through. Cam Watson, Sam Sanders and Matthew Shawnee in the top 10 at the moment. Matthew Shawnee has had a very good start in intermediate, the driver who won the rookie category last year. Really, really solid start to things in intermediate. Jack Eyre, Adam Brown, Tom Roberts. Tom Roberts has gone up to Premier as well. Now, Tom didn't do the first round, but such was his performance over rounds 2 and 3. He's already been promoted up to the top category. Murray Adams, Magnus Riddervold, they're all in the top 15. Josh Mitchell, not here tonight, cheering on the Tartan Army, well, part of the Tartan Army. He's at the Scotland versus Denmark football match this evening, so he'll be using this as one of his drops tonight. Peter Knight is another driver who has changed category since we last spoke. He's no longer a rookie, he is now an intermediate. Andy Alston also on the first page. Sean Patterson stays a rookie for now. Rookies are always eligible to potentially move up to intermediate at any stage of the season. If they do so, they then become eligible for the third prize drive from Club 100 at the end of the season. David Whitehouse also in the top 20. We should cover as well, Rob Crawford has also gone up from rookie to intermediate. He's only done 2 rounds so far. And Ollie Walker has gone up to intermediate as well after a particularly strong performance in the MX-5s at Knock Hill last time. So that is all. Actually, no, it's not all the news because the prize pot has also expanded. So it started out the top 3 in each category were up for iRacing dollars at the end of the season. That prize pot has now been pretty much doubled to a total prize pot of around $500 US. More details are on the Discord. Basically, it is spread so about a third to 40% of the field entry in Premier, in Clubman, in Intermediate and Rookie will win not US dollars, iRacing dollars at the end of the season. So big thanks to everybody for their continued support of the championship. Right, I think that's all of our bits of news. Parish notices done. As I say, 42 drivers in the lobby tonight. Absolutely fantastic. We have now, sorry, there's another bit of news. We have now officially sold out the initial allocation of 50 season entries for the year. We will work to try and maybe open up some more slots. We know we can confidently run these events with 50 drivers. We haven't hit a full 50 lobby though so far this season. This is the busiest lobby that we've had so far in this championship campaign at 42. So we'll see whether we can squeeze a few more drivers in if we know that some drivers aren't going to do the whole season. I think I've covered about all the parish notices, Reeve. We're going to get ready for qualifying. It is 7:30 UK time. Nürburgring as a circuit, particularly this GP loop. What do you think of it?
Well, it's a brilliant racetrack. I don't think there's much more. So some people don't seem to be the biggest fans of it, but I really love it. The Castrol S, the Mercedes Arena left-hander, it's all so technical, so complicated. It's a real test of these drivers. There's a reason why it's used so much in the real-life world of endurance racing. I think there's going to be some...
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe don't like it that much just because of what it's exactly next to, because they love the Nordschleife. But no, I completely agree with you. You know, looking at it in isolation, this is a great circuit, which has produced some brilliant races over the years, and I'm sure we'll do so tonight. Right, everything has gone quiet. Don't worry, we have had some internet issues at DDMM HQ this evening, but touch wood, we're all going to be fine. The reason why it's gone quiet is because lone qualifying has begun. If you are new to this series, basically what this is, everybody's got 10 minutes to do 2 flying laps. They'll easily fit that in because it's dry conditions. They've got to be clean laps, no off tracks, no spins, no incident points automated by iRacing, and everyone's in their little bubble universe. It's like the multiverse, but it's iRacing, so nobody can complain about track. Well, they can complain about track limits, but they can take that up with iRacing. They can't complain about traffic because they're all out there on their own. Right, shall we have a look at some new drivers as well? I'm going to throw over to you, Reeve, to tell the story here, because as I say, there's more Liverpool drivers on the grid. They're sprouting up. And one of them, I'm going to put on the screen straight away, if I can press the right button, is Aaron Singh. Tell us a little bit about Aaron's story, if you can.
I don't know much about Aaron Singh's story, to be honest. He's driving a Porsche right now.
He's driving a Porsche.
That's what I can tell you.
And we'll kind of let him off, because he was a really close late entry, so he's not quite had time to get his livery sorted. We'll talk about Johnny Pinder as well. Johnny's not out on circuit yet, so he's just chilling in the box at the moment. Who else have we had enter since the last round? I'm looking for them on my screen because we have had one of our Warwick drivers return. where has he gone? Where has Tom Holland not off of Spider-Man?
I was going to say he's busy filming.
Yeah, he's busy filming at the moment. A film. Anyway, we'll cut back to those drivers later when they get out on circuit. It's you're not missing anything big at the moment, folks. Everyone's just on their out lap. Sam Spinell here in the 133 Mustang. Let's talk car choices before we start seeing some flying laps, Reeve. From what I'm seeing, particularly here in these dry conditions, it seems the beefier the car, the better tonight. Lots of people going Mustang, lots of people also going Aston Martin Vantage.
Yeah, that seems to be the name of the game here at the GP track. I know overall it seems to be that Mustang is, as you say, a bit of a favourite in the dry for this season. Obviously, a fairly new model to both the likes of the real-life endurance racing and also iRacing as well. The Aston Martin, very similar as you say. You got that V8 grunt, front mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, obviously, and lots of, shall we say, car area to apply some aerodynamics to.
Yeah, indeed. Here's Matt Swain, now, of course, a Premier driver, still your championship leader, of course. Little other details for the eagle-eyed amongst you. Premiers former clubmans who are now Premiers, their race numbers have changed as well. So Matt Swain was the 198. He is now just the 98. So that's how that works. Similarly with our 3 drivers who were rookies, now intermediates. We'll pull one of them up as an example. Peter Knight's going to be the one I pick on. Was the 347, now the 247. Although he's still got black end plates, but we'll forgive him for that. We'll just blame that one on Murray Adams. So there we go. No, Murray does a great amount of work.
Blame Murray.
Blame Murray. But no, Murray does some great work. Big thanks to all the admin team and all their work over the last couple of weeks. My goodness, we are already on round 4 of the season. Now Johnny's out on circuit, Reeve. Now we can talk about him. And I like this livery. Do you like this livery?
I do. I had less of a hand in this one than I did in the first Liverpool livery that we saw a couple of weeks ago. But what a cracking job. I know it took him quite literally all day. He started early in the morning and then continued on and was just about done by the time I got back from work. But yeah, stunning livery. Johnny is a now former BUKC driver with the University of Liverpool team. And that is partly former because he's no longer racing for the BUKC team, and that's partly because there isn't really a BUKC team left for the University of Liverpool at this point after qualifiers.
Yeah, it didn't go well. I felt sorry for there were some Liverpool team members who had some terrible bad luck right in front of me. I was not involved in their bad luck. It just seemed to happen there and then at the boot chicane over the weekend. We've got some times coming in. Axel Slijepcevic has gone fastest at the moment. Let's try and bring you actually the lap times up on the screen. Apologies for that, folks. Let's do that. There we go. So at the moment, clear by 0.2 of a second ahead of Matt Swain. Max Andrews has had a good start in third at the moment. Matthew Shawnee, what a qualifying so far in the BMW. Has gone P4 at the moment. That is a tremendous run. I've got to say, Matthew has really stepped up in this season so far. Was a well-deserving winner of the rookie title in the 2024-2025 season. But as I think it really developed his ability to deal with pressure. Sometimes Matthew would fall apart at the worst of moments last year, but that doesn't seem to be occurring so far this season, Reeve.
Yep, fantastic effort from Matthew, as you say, highest placed BMW in the session so far, and within half a second of the big boys in terms of Swain and Andrew. So really nice run there. I'm watching as well Spinell and Brown, identical times so far in qualifying. That is impressive stuff. Yeah,
and Sam Spinell currently the fastest of the Clubman drivers. We'll just watch the end of this lap from the Belgian as he comes through the final turn. Grossman up to P2. Max Andrews has taken provisional pole position on a 153.203. He's out-qualified Matt Swain and Adam Brown. It's all changing at the moment. Sam Spinell up to P4. So holds on to the lead at the moment, or in class provisional pole position. Dan Cook's had a good qualifying as well. P10 for the rookie. Remember, the rookies can continue to move up into intermediate as the season goes on. So we'll see whether that's going to be the case for Daniel Cook as the season continues. Let's try and find a driver who's on a flying lap. Here's Tom Saunders at the moment, P13. Of those in the clubman category, where's he going to be at the moment? It's going to be around, what, 4th or 5th place within the clubman category. Yeah, P4 at the moment. Lawrence Fines has had a decent start as well. Here comes Saunders over the line, a 154.6 turns into a 153.9. Good time there for Tom Saunders. That will put him up to P8 overall. Well, Johnny Pinder's had a good lap as well. Johnny Pinder goes up to P11, third of the intermediates right now. So tremendous start, Reeve, there on debut.
That is absolutely. This is a car, I should mention, that he's actually not feeling all that confident in. This isn't his usual choice. So, interested to see where Johnny goes from here in this season, as you say. P3 in terms of your Inters drivers at the moment. Getting closer to those 53s as well are a few of our drivers here. Already we have got 8 cars within that 1 minute 53 range. It is going to be packed until the end. What a great qualifying format this is, because it's effectively, you just get 2 little one-shot qualifyings. It's brilliant.
Do indeed. I've got to say, Johnny's still on a lap here, so could move up into the top 10. Is a new driver to the championship, so he's kind of in that phase where we don't really know where Johnny's going to feed out in this field. Mike Hart's up into the top 10. First GT3 appearance of the season for Mike, up into what will be around 6th place of those in the Premier category, one of the most experienced drivers in the CLUB100 iRacing Championship. This is looking like another tidy lap from Pinder here, Reeve.
It could well be. Let's see whereabouts is he now as we head up on through final part of the lap coming up in just a moment. I think I'm a little bit behind on my timing, to be honest, but I'll do my best to catch up.
Just got over a minute of this session to go through the WEC version of that final chicane. I've got to say, I do prefer that one to the Formula 1 version of that chicane. What is Pinder going to do here? There's been quite a few green sector times on this lap. Can Pinder put it up into the top 10 on debut? Oh, yes, he can. P7 for Johnny Pinder, just off class pole position as well. That is a tremendous run. Let's try and find another driver. I think Joel Julius, who's returning to the series tonight, is also out there. Apologies, we got stuck on scenic cam for a moment. There we go. There's Joel in the Ferrari, 26th at the moment within the overall picture. What is that like in terms of class? At the moment it's P7. Peter Knight has, well, all of our drivers who've gone up from the rookie category, 4th, 5th, 6th for Crawford, Walker and Knight at the moment, all out qualifying. James Fremont as well. Big thanks again to James, does all of the cinematography for the series. Joel Julius looking nice and composed at the moment. Let's try and go on board with Joel. Oh, and the camera cuts away from us. Because that was the end of qualifying, so he didn't quite get his next lap in there. So that is it. Well, we've known for a few moments who was going to be pole sitter in that one, but plenty of drama in the second half of that session involving those in the intermediate category. So here's your grid for the first race of the night. Max Andrews and Matt Swain continue their good starts to the season, now both Premier drivers, and on the front row of the grid for the first race of the evening. Axel Slijepcevic and Adam Brown make it 4 Premiers in the top 4. They're on row 2. Good qualifying for Sam Spinell. Brilliant qualifying for Matthew Shawnee. That's row 3. They are both class pole sitters. Johnny Pinder on debut in the championship, row 4, alongside another of the new Premiers, Ronald Grossman. Tom Saunders and John Adey, great qualifying from the second of the parachuting carrots. John Adey will start inside the top 10. Mike Hart and Jack Eyre, they will go from row number 6 down to row 7. Cam Watson and Dan Cook will be there. Dan Cook is your top rookie for the start of this race. Row number 8, Rob Crawford, new driver stepping up to the intermediate category is alongside Lawrence Vines. Magnus Riddervold and Andy Alston start on row 9. Michael Weddle and Tim Ellis, an improvement there from Tim Ellis. That is your top 20. Aaron Singh on debut. Good qualifying from Aaron in the middle of the pack, row 11, alongside another rookie in the shape of Colin Ward. Yusuf bin Sahel and Ollie Walker, they will start on row number 12. It's the biggest grid of the season so far. It keeps going with row 13, Peter Knight and Joel Julius. Jack Mitchell-Lowe and James Fremont will be on row 14. Eric Mignon and Sean Patterson will complete the top 30. Simon Delamere and Rick Wong are on 16. Kira Boylan and Steve Hicks on row 17. We're now into the runners who did not qualify. They did quite a few drivers deliberately not qualifying tonight and going for pit lane starts, I believe. Maybe trying to do something a little bit different on the fuel strategy. Tom Roberts and Joao Castro are in that mix there on row 18. We're still going, as I say, it's 42 drivers in tonight. Sam Dimolo, Asan Iqbal, David Whitehouse, Tom Holland, Matt Hale and Martin Mock, all there, all ready to go. The formation lap has begun, Reeve. This is going to be a very, very busy race. I am intrigued by those who have elected to start from the back because it's such a big field. I get the reasoning to stay out of trouble in the early stages, but straight away you're going to have to be doing a lot of overtaking. Yes, it's a longer race, 40 minutes, but it's going to leave them with a lot of work to do.
It will indeed. I also question how it's going to look on that pit exit. Well, so many drivers appear to be doing that. Either way, we head around through the Coca-Cola curve and onto that start-finish straight, ready to go racing.
Here we go then, round 4 of this year's Club 100 iRacing Championship is underway. It's a good start for Max Andrews, who breaks away from the field in the early stages down towards the first braking zone. Big move on the inside there from Sam Spinell, trying to move up from 5th place on the grid, but it's a good start for the Red Rocket Mustang there of Max Andrews. Has had race victories already this year. Matt Swain's had a decent start, has held 2nd place. 3rd for Adam Brown. There's been a problem towards the back, I believe, for Eric Mignon. But apart from that, we're looking pretty good. I think Magnus Riddervold's had an incident as well. What has happened here early on in this one? This was down in towards the first turn. Riddervold in the centre there in the kind of the teal-green Rethink Racing car. Oh, it's just going to get tapped there, I think, by Yusuf bin Sahel. So real shame for Magnus, and then collected by Eric. That's Eric Mignon in the COMP2 style livery Aston Martin going around. I think Jack Mitchell-Lowe may have also been involved, has got damage. So quite a few drivers in trouble in these early stages. No trouble though for Max Andrews here, Reeve. He leads as they head towards the end of this first lap.
He does indeed. Swain putting pressure on nicely as we head through down towards, well, I say down towards, we drop down elevation and climb up once again. We go through the Kumo curve, head on down through to one of the highest speed parts of the lap, but Max Andrews not cracking under pressure so far. Swain taking a slightly tighter run as we now head up towards the bit curve. The right-hander coming up next has a look down the inside. Does Swain actually go side by side? They both are able to maintain that grip level, carry on through, but still side by side. Who's it going to be? Later on the brakes goes Andrews, and actually through goes Brown. Spinell as well, potentially. Not an ideal last part of the lap for Swain.
No, not at all. This is good stuff from Adam Brown, who's often had difficulties on race starts, but tonight he's brought his A game. Is challenging his Rethink Racing teammates at the moment for this 2nd place. At end of the first lap then, Max Andrews leads at the moment from Swain, from Brown, Spinell, Slijepcevic, Pinder, Saunders, Grossman, Shawnee and Crawford. Great start for Rob Crawford as well. Up the order at this point into the top 10. Mike Hart's 11th, Watson, Bin Sahel and Alston in the top 15. Lawrence Vines has survived the first lap as well. Ollie Walker's had a good start, up 7 places to P17. As Mike Hart had a problem, as you can see him falling down the order, down to 20th place. So is Mike okay? Looks okay. There's no significant damage on that car right now. Busy start to this one. Let's catch up with some other happenings out there on track. Mike Weddle has had a problem. What happened to this was later on in the arena. He was on the inside. He just lost it on his own. That might have been a bit of cold tyres there. Reeve does well, gets on the brakes, avoids any further incidents, but A mistake there from an experienced driver, Michael Weddle, in the 177. Not a good start for the Scotsman.
Yeah, absolutely. That seemed to happen so fast as we go on board with Mike Hart here. Mike Hart putting a bit of pressure on Lawrence Vines, having a look around the outside potentially, but no, the Vines Mustang there can use its sheer size to its advantage, I suspect, but might be having a look down the inside. Mike Hart, here we go, could get a clean run here. There's a little bit of contact between the two, but we do continue on pointing in the right direction.
Oh, that's one of the most experienced drivers in this championship, going up against one of the newer drivers, but Peter Knight, with all of his experience of racing through the Young Drivers' Championship, when it was called that back in the day, in CLUB100, now primarily races in the British Pro Kart Endurance Championship, and of course for Reading in the BUKC as well, was part of the qualifying team for that university earlier on this weekend, or that weekend just gone at Wilton Mill. So some really, really fierce racing happening in the early stages. Unfortunately, I've got bad news for Ollie Walker fans. There's been a problem for the 299 Porsche. This was down towards the hairpin. Oh, he's just going to get a little bit deep there. Tagged the back of Lawrence Vines and goes round. Hopefully it's just a spin and nothing more than that. Loses position, gets back onto circuit. Dan Cook's had a problem as well, so after that bright start in the McLaren, what's happened is the same corner for the 322 Golf coloured McLaren. Oh, it's just right. So what happened there was a bit of a concertina off the back of Ollie Walker's spin. Didn't quite make out there which driver it was getting into the back of Cook, but that's significant damage. Now everybody still has a fast repair at their disposal across the course of these 40-minute races, Reeve, but you don't really want to be using those fast repairs at this stage of the race. You want to try and get to the middle part of the race. If you're carrying any damage, use that fast repair during the fuel stop. Right now, if you're coming in and trying to top the tank off, you're probably not quite going to make it to the end of 40 minutes.
Yeah, this is the type of thinking that our drivers now need to begin to demonstrate at this phase of the race. It's a 40-minute race. It's not quite a sprint. It's definitely not quite an endurance either, but you need to have a little bit of that endurance racing spirit about you almost. You need to start thinking about strategy. You need to start thinking about how you're going to eke out the most time from the race that is in front of you, and part of that is, as you say, Andrew, not getting a little bit of aero damage here or there, not having to immediately dive into the pits to mend the car and head back out.
Keep your comments coming in. Quite a few drivers just decided to watch qualifying. Sam Dimolo was one, David Whitehouse was another. Good evening to Lawrence Andrews as well, who will be liking this at the moment under the cloudy skies here at the Nürburgring. Max Andrews leads this race from Matt Swain, Adam Brown, Axel Slijepcevic. Really is where you start to feel the title picture start to emerge. Adam Brown needs a good round tonight. He's had a bit of difficulty through the opening parts of the season, but when everything has been running well for the driver of the number 88, he's looked very, very quick indeed. Is another driver who has switched to the Aston Martin. Wasn't the Lamborghini for Sebring. Now, all Premier and Clubman drivers are allowed to change weapon of choice at their choice. Any driver who has changed car in intermediate or rookie from what they ran in Florida for round number 2, that is their one freebie. They're allowed a car change without any championship points penalty. Almost think of it like Formula 1 engine regulations. They're allowed to crack out another GT3 without penalty. They can switch back to the first car that they used as well, back and forth across the course of the season. But if they do want to crack out a third GT3, then there will be some points penalties to come, but that'll be all for later on in the season. Let's actually talk a little bit about intermediate, because right now, Reeve, well, you're not cursing him. Johnny Pinder in the lead in class. He's got Matthew Shawnee just behind, and Rob Crawford's going to be on the scene pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you can't rest easy just yet. Matthew Shawnee closing up and putting that pressure on, although Shawnee's busy having his own battle with Robert Crawford heading down into the Castrol S in just a moment. But looks like it might have been a case that Shawnee spent a little bit too much time defending, or had a slightly iffy run onto the straight, because having a look down the inside goes goes Robert Crawford, in fact, and just about keeps a nose ahead. You can compromise yourself sometimes if you go for the inside into turn one, but it's worked out well for Rob Crawford this time around. As you say, though, this battle is fantastic if you're Johnny Pinder, because it's allowing him to build his lead ever so slightly more. He can't, he can't break away yet. There's cars in front, but Robert Crawford is now going to be the driver who will do their utmost to attack and fight for that intermediate lead. As we head back slightly to Matthew Shawnee, as we're on board with us now. With this lap just gets a little bit worse for Matthew into that BMW M4 GT3. Luckily, still plenty of time left in this race to recuperate.
Yeah, and still scoring good points at the moment is Shawnee, so no need to panic right now. Andy Alston just behind there was in the Porsche for the first race, and now nominated the choice to go over to the Ford Mustang ahead of this race. Well, lots happened in the first 9 minutes of this one. It's 2 races tonight, 2 times 40-minute races, always in these GT3 rounds. Good evening to Jamie Mitchell. Hope that's the answer to your question. Let's talk rookies. Where's our rookie leader at the moment? I think it's Colin Ward. Here he is. So Colin doing a really solid job right now. 11 rookies in total out there on circuit. So these are the drivers at the moment not competing for one of the prize drives, but they are now competing as well. Well, they already were competing for some iRacing dollars. That amount has gone up as well, and drivers in the rookie category, if they show that kind of level of performance that we're seeing from the likes of Pinder, from the likes of Peter Knight and those other intermediates, they can move up to intermediate as the season goes on, and then be eligible for one of those SP40 North or Experience prize drives later in the season, as we've got pit activity here. Reeve, Colin Ward, rookie leader, into the pits.
We do indeed. It's time to don Mike Kravitz hat, seemingly, as Colin Ward drops in to the pit. So going for that early pit stop, potentially now just going to load that McLaren up with fuel and try and look after the tyres, try and look after the fuel load till the end.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Eric Mignon has had a problem. Oh, now has this been coming out of the pits? Let's see, have a look what's happened here. Ah, no, it's just him holding back, I think, to let some of the traffic through. So that's quite sensible from Eric. Ward continues on his way. We go back to the race leaders. Steve Hicks not running. Good to see Steve at least back in the lobby. For those who don't know, Steve had quite the off. Has a period on the injury table, but has now been medically cleared. I know some of you may be thinking, what, to go sim racing? Well, Steve Hicks's rig is up in his loft, so he has to climb a big ladder. He's not been allowed to climb said big ladder for quite a while, but now he is, so he's back, and in good times. Of course, this is the last round, where if you get your first entry in for this one and then do all the other rounds as we go through the season, you'll get a full championship score for the entire year. Yellow flag on for Mike Hart. I wonder what that is for. He's looking back on track now. So I don't think there's been any massive dramas there. Got to say, though, I've been impressed with this drive from Max Andrews so far. Reeve looking very comfortable at the moment in the lead of this race. Don't think quite got the car choice right for the first round of the season at Sebring, so this is more akin to what we've seen from Max. I think back to Navarro and those very impressive performances in round one.
Yeah, this is really strong stuff from Andrews. I also want to give a shout out to Swain and Slijepcevic as well, just behind. Definitely their gap has built up compared to the first couple of laps, but keeping him very much in check at the moment are Swain and Slijepcevic. They're just around about a second or so behind, give or take, based on which corner we are at, and they are two front-running Astons, and of course Adam Brown also in an Aston, so it goes back to what we were discussing earlier. Big car, V8 power, that's what wins here at the Nürburgring GP track this evening.
It is indeed, and at the moment I'm just looking at the top 10. You've got 5 Astons, 2 Mustangs, 2 Ferraris, and a Bimmer. So the Ferraris are the ones really breaking the trend there. There's been incidents out there, unfortunately. Tom Roberts has had a problem in his Mustang. Now, what has happened here down into turn 1? That's Raul Castro just ahead of us, and I think, oh, is Tom going to catch a back marker? Yes, he is. Oh, just catches the back of Joel Julius there, who had dramas earlier on in this race, I think. So not too much of a problem there for Tom Roberts, but that might be one that gets reviewed by the stewards in the post-race investigations provided to us by Sim Staff. Big thanks to Ben Mills and the Sim Staff crew and their continued support. Yeah, that one is going to probably be looked at later. Kira Boylan's had a problem as well in the Motorsport Woman Corvette. Oh dear, and not of her own making at all. Got tipped round there by Ollie Walker. I think was that heading into the pits not by choice, Tom Holland. And now Kira's stuck on the curb as well, so he's going to have to probably tow from that position. That is a real shame for Kira. Meanwhile, back at the front of the order, looks like Max Andrews starting to break away now from Matt Swain.
Yeah, definitely a change in the tide, building up that gap just a little bit more now. Andrews looking very comfortable. What a shame for Boylan, though. It's 2 weeks on the trot where, unfortunately, just a bit of a passenger. That is the way of racing sometimes, isn't it? I hope that Boylan's able to get a nice clean lap. Oh, no, sorry, I'm thinking of our other young driver. Apologies.
Yes, Athena Cooper.
Yeah.
Should note, actually, I've just remembered. No, Sam Dimolo did not elect to sit out of qualifying by choice. He was told to. 8 penalty points for one of the admin team in one night. Meant that we had our first qualifying suspension of the season. Where is Dimolo at the moment? Oh, he's up to P31 in the green turtle McLaren. So in some ways that might have actually helped him having a bit of a qualifying suspension. And it also shows that just because you're an admin team member does not mean you're going to escape the wrath of the stewards. So, yes, you reminded me very, very well there, Reeve, that Atty Cooper did get flipped by a Club 100 staff member and we penalised it heavily. So there we go. All problems. I think David Whitehouse has had an issue. What has happened to David in the Mind Ferrari? Oh, it's just going to over in classic Ferrari 296 spin there. David actually recovers that quite well. Doesn't make contact with anything. Gets it back onto the service road. Probably loses about 5 positions in that one, but nothing more than that. Mike Hart's had a problem as well. Oh, Mike Hart round. Now, that looks like running back down the hill towards the hairpin. Oh dear. Well, at first was back onto the circuit without any problem. I think he's got a load of dirt and gravel on his tyres. You can see how much detritus has been pulled back onto the track. It's started to look a bit more like Knock Hill again 2 weeks ago. And I think Jack Mitchell-Lowe has had a problem in his Club 100 liveried Aston Martin as well. Oh, back end doesn't want to sit down. Round goes the 325. But no problems there. Jack will get back on circuit and I think has actually made his pit stop as well. So he's running P38 at the moment.
He is indeed. We were just watching on, and here we can see that now. Sliepsvich and Swain having a bit of a squabble at the moment. Axel's actually now jumping up ahead, and into second position goes Sliepsvich, and that means that this battle might just be benefiting Andrews a little bit, or I rather get the feeling that Sliepsvich is saying, I'm released now it's my turn to fight for the race lead. So Andrews might have a new challenge beginning to brew here. Are we watching a replay of this by any chance?
Yeah, Axel Sliepsvich was down the inside of Matt Swain at turn 1. So that's how Sliepsvich got the move done. As I say, did not have a good time at Sebring for round 2 at all. Quite bizarre moment in the first race where he'd qualified well, jumped onto the grid, realised, oh, I need to change something in the settings, exited. I say, I've never seen this happen before in iRacing, but it's how it occurred. It turned out that if you jump on the grid, come off the grid, and then everybody else on the grid has jumped on it, it doesn't matter that you're not on the grid at that very moment. The sim considers you as having joined the grid and starts the race, even if there's still 30 seconds of the countdown to go. So that's why Axel had to start the first race of Sebring from the pit lane. He then had incidents as well, which weren't really his own fault at all. So he needs a good round here. This'll do. It's a nice solid start to the round. I'll tell you what, Matt Swain's not giving up on this second place. He's looking pretty feisty there in third.
It is indeed. You rather get the feeling that the two Astons here have settled for now on at least a podium. They know Andrews isn't escaping at the moment. They can have their own little battle, and we've still got plenty of time left in this race. We have seen they want to push it too much potentially to something we've talked about in other leagues with Club 100, is that drivers need to be focused on getting those points where and when they can. If they risk everything for the odd overtake here or there, we could end up in a sticky situation for some of our drivers like Swain, like Slijepcevic. Andrews can just kind of chill out for the time being, whereas these two are making it just potentially a little bit more difficult for them. I have seen a few of those spins that we've seen from the Astons. I wonder if it's just because they've got that little bit of a shorter wheelbase in comparison to that big Mustang, which is obviously, it's a big, long American thing. That can just, you know, ride every curve. There's no problems there. It doesn't matter if there's any camber changes. These Astons, they're quick, don't get me wrong, and they're great on turning, but they might be just a little bit more difficult to control, as we see Slijepcevic closing down on Andrews.
We do indeed. Good evening to Thomas Smith, who's enjoying the Max Andrews, I'd say, domination at the moment, because he is being closed in on here by Slijepcevic. We'll come back to our leaders, because I think there's been a problem for Martin Mock out there, one of the rookies in one of the Ferrari 296s. He's just going wheel to wheel with Magnus Riddervold, and I think just got a little bit too deep on the brakes there, and goes round. We'll be able to recover though. Plenty of run off there. Oh, don't hit the wall, Martin. That's not going to go well. Meanwhile, back with our race leaders. This is a really intriguing fight here between these three, who I think probably on balance have been the three fastest drivers so far this season. Round two aside for Max Andrews, where I think he'll admit he was just in the wrong car for that particular circuit to be truly competitive. But now here in the Mustang, going along very nicely indeed. Just looking further down through the classes. This, of course, is your top three in the the Premier category. In the Clubman category, still Sam Spinell in the lead of that one. No Murray Adams tonight. I think lots of the Scots are watching the football tonight, as they look to qualify for the World Cup next year. The Belgians, I've no idea how the Belgians are doing in football at the moment. I haven't been paying that much attention. I've had other sports going on. It's looking good at the moment there. Johnny Pinder still in the lead for those in the intermediate category. Shown is Ollie Walker, black flag. Oh dear, I wonder if Ollie's picked up too many incident points in the first half of this race. There's a move directly behind. This is for third in Clubman. Jack Eyre beautifully through there past Cameron Watson. Cameron gets a little bit on the lights, maybe trying to put drivers off directly ahead. This could get interesting down into turn number one. But Jack Eyre having a solid night here in the Mustang at the Nürburgring. Ollie Walker has now left the pit, so Ollie is still out there circulating and looking to score points. As big snap!
Whoa! Bad luck there. Does continue on and down towards the Ford curve in a little while. Has lost some time there and is now swarmed by some clubmans. This is obviously not going to affect his position as an intermediate driver, but cannot afford time losses like that, because who's just behind? That's Matthew Shawnee now back on the scene.
It is indeed. Andy Alston in this mix as well. 11th place at the moment in the kind of burgundy red detailed Rethink Racing Mustang. Alston down the inside, and sure enough, Pinder has now got his closest challenger for class victory directly behind him now in the white and blue BMW of Matthew Shawnee. This is a good race so far from these drivers. We are past halfway in this first race of the night. On board now with Matthew Shawnee. As slightly losing for a moment there. Nope, all fine. We're back on board.
Yep.
I'm back. I think that might have been my internet for a moment. As here we are on board with the race leader, who's being challenged again by Slijepcevic.
He is indeed. We head on to the start finish straight, and Slijepcevic could have a great run here. A little bit of a kick up of gravel potentially upsetting things, but there we actually see that gap expanding. I didn't expect to see that. Slijepcevic in the tow that I thought might have had a better run, but it seems to be that Mustang just romps away with all that torque that it's got. We head on through to the arena curves coming up in just a moment. Nicely executed by all of our drivers, using the track as much as possible. That's what you want to do in this first part of the lap. Use the tarmac that's available to you to try and get a nice clean run. The track kind of falls back towards itself in certain parts through that sector, so you can afford to just take the racing line and let the track do the defending for you. Before we head down to the forward curve in just a moment, Andrew's just about building up a gap here, and I suppose that's because Slijepcevic is in a very uncomfortable position. Andrews is the driver that he's trying to attack, but I'm sure Axel's very well aware that Swain is also putting that pressure, so Slijepcevic needs to have one eye over one shoulder and then one eye over the other as well.
It's going to be interesting to think how much fuel these drivers have used through this through the first 24 minutes of this race. Could that be a deciding factor? Because those two Aston Martins have been sat in the slipstream of the big Mustang since the very start of this race. Who has been the biggest eater of positions so far in this race? Well, it's been the Rexy, not a Porsche, a Rexy. Oh no, just as we say that, João Castro's off. Oh, João was up 21 positions and has had a problem there. Well, that's a proper commentator's curse if there ever was one. What happened there with João? Just lost control. Wow, that is a very, very strange one. He actually does very, very well to get that one hooked up and then lost it again, rejoining on the circuit. Well, João Castro, I think, is still the biggest move in this race, up 18 positions. But one of the drivers who started from pit lane didn't take part in qualifying, having a bit of an eventful moment out there, Reeve.
Absolutely, as you say. Otherwise, a very impressive run. It's still on for some decent points here in his club and division, but would ideally, I'm sure, like to be just a couple of places up after that one. As you mentioned, tyre performance, I wonder if we're now starting to see some of those drivers who are pushing it as late as possible might be beginning to sacrifice a bit of comfort out there on track.
Here's David Whitehouse, up 17 places so far in this race in the Mind charity Ferrari. Big well done to everyone who competed in the 23 Hours of Zolder at the weekend as well for the charity Mind, and big props from DDMM Towers again to Jimmy for getting all of that together. I need to do some catching up on the race itself. As I say, BUKC qualifiers for myself last weekend, so I wasn't quite able to keep up with everything. But I do think Kirith's team did quite well in that race, which had quite a few members of the Club 100 community racing in it. Let's go back to our race leaders though. Here they are. Max Andrews continuing to circulate. No pit stop activity yet for these drivers. In fact, the pit's quite quiet in general at the moment. Michael Weddle's been in. Who else? Who's our top driver who's been in the pits? I think Tom Roberts is our highest ranked driver who has been in the pits at the moment. Rob Crawford's been in. Adi, Weddle, Riddervold have all had time on pit lane. A lot of these, though, were in the first few laps of the race. Sean Patterson is more of a later visitor to the pits. He's going to change for 6th place. Looks like Tom Saunders has got through past Ronald Grossman. Here it was, down at the bottom of the circuit. And a good move there. Tom Saunders looking good at the moment, trying to close in on class leader Sam Spinell. 5th and 6th at the moment for the top two running clubs. That's what I was trying to say.
Here we go, back on board with our race leaders. Slijepcevic maintaining that position just behind, but trading blows with Swain at the moment. We are heading on down through and into that forward curve in just a moment. Here we go on through. I've just lost everyone on my screen, apologies.
Oh, sorry.
So you might have to jump in emergency-wise. Sorry.
That's okay. I know exactly what it's the reverse. It's the reverse of what we used to have when Howard used to press all the buttons. Jack Hare is what we're looking at right now. Heading out of pit lane. Standard pit stop for Jack. Back on his way again. Tim Ellis has had a solid start to this race and is running in 19th place at the moment in that blue and yellow McLaren. I think we've got a couple of internet connection foibles with Tim there. But he's, oh my goodness me, that was a mighty, mighty close moment. So I think that was Aaron Singh having a spin right in front of the leaders. Let's have a watch of that again. So Aaron heading into the left-hander. Yeah, just loses the back end. That's a very Porsche-like spin. But absolutely does the right thing, holds his brakes and remains predictable. I know I'm a stickler for this, Reeve, but that's why we tell the drivers. That's why JV tells the drivers in real life in Club 100. If you're spinning, get on them brakes, because it makes you far more predictable for anybody else coming through from behind.
Absolutely. I mean, hats off to everyone involved there to make that a non-event in terms of collisions. As you say, very Porsche-esque. That rear engine's acting as a pendulum, bringing that car around as we head later into this stint. But well done to our top drivers for avoiding that as well. And they haven't lost any time in that skirmish. Perhaps Adam Brown just a tad bit closer, but nothing substantial really. Oh no, apologies, it's not Adam Brown. That it looks like Sam Spinell potentially just behind.
There is Sam Spinell trying to close in on Brown at the moment. What's the gap back to the next drivers there?
Well, but we're still pointing the correct direction. There might be a little bit more of a gravel decoration on the track, but you know, we're still carrying on, and Spinell still maintains your class lead for the Clubmans.
We'll have another look at that one. That's not the first time we've seen a Mustang going off in that part of the circuit. Just gets too much speed, really, through the corner. As if gathering him up on board. Unlike João Castro earlier on, managed to keep it on the road. Well, keeping it pointing in the right direction. I think there's been a problem for Mike Hart, seeing that big red bar in our events logger. What's happened here to Mike? Back end steps out. Whoop, bit of a spin. Keeps it out of the wall, though. Okay. It's a bit of a roll back, but thankfully didn't cause any further incidents. Now, have we had a change for the race lead? Yes, we have, and it's because, pit lane activity, that's why. So, Andrews and Swain in for their, well, they're not mandatory pit stops, but given how much fuel are in the cars at the start of the race, they're kind of forced to do a fuel stop at some stage. So interesting here, Reeve, that Slijepcevic has been able to go at least one lap longer than his two rivals.
Absolutely. This might go back to what you were saying before, Andrew, of just being able to sit in that slipstream. He might be able to do a little bit of lift and coach potentially, and this could benefit him in terms of the fuel on board the car. I imagine he, as you say, he is going to have to dive in at some point, but this could be the chance now for Slijepcevic to just smash in some really quick laps if he's got the conditions to do so, and might just make the difference in terms of this battle for the race lead. A fascinating development in terms of strategy then is Slijepcevic staying out.
He's definitely pushing at the moment, is Axel Slijepcevic, and he's got a bit of traffic though to deal with immediately ahead of him. I think that's going to be Rick Wong in that Porsche. Needs to be conscious that he's got the race leader directly behind him. This is not good for Axel Slijepcevic because he's going to have to lift out of that one, surely. Yeah, just a little lift out of the throttle as they came out of the Schumacher S. Axel Slijepcevic knows that this lap is crucial if he wants to win this sim race. He's doing the overcut almost, will surely come into the pits at the end of this lap. Be very, very tight on fuel. Unfortunately, on the little graphics that we can see in the box, we don't get the details such as how much fuel a driver has got. Do we hang right? Yes, we do go into the pits then for the fuel stop. But that looked like a pretty quick run to the pits, but do you reckon, Reeve, did Axel lose a bit of time there with that back marker?
I think it probably equalised with the pace that he was able to gain by pushing at the first half of that lap. I actually say it's one of the least ideal positions is the Schumacher S's to be encountering traffic like that. And unfortunately, it'll just be a waiting game. I imagine it'll be a torrid waiting game for CLUB100 as he sits in those pits to see where he comes out, as his rival Andrews heads on to the start-finish straight now where that pit lane is.
I'm just seeing the black, I'm not sure if that's an actual correct showing, but I saw a little black flag on our graphic next to Axel's name. I hope he's not done something like speeding in the pit lane. But well, either way, this has not worked out for, well, it has. I'll tell you who it has worked out for. Hang on a minute. Matt Swain's taken the lead of this race. So Matt Swain must have had a shorter pit stop than Max Andrews. As I say, Swain has been sat in the slipstream since the start of this one. Oh, but it's had a huge moment coming out of the arena. Has Swain just been able to hold? Yeah, CLUB100 has had a problem, which we'll come back to in a minute, because he's showing a long way down the order now. I wonder, was it pit entry? He did cut across the red and white hatching at pit entry. Has he had some form of penalty automated by iRacing that has dropped him all the way down to 17th place? We're going to stick with this battle for the race lead here, Reeve. Suddenly this race has come alive with 16 minutes to go.
It has indeed. Through Dunlop and into Schumacher we go, where nailing those apexes is absolutely crucial. Kumo comes up next, but Swain looking in control of things. As you say, it's all getting a little bit hot now in terms of the final few attempts to get into the pit lane. We have only about 6 minutes left on the clock in this race. It really is heating up as we see Andrews bounding over the curve as we go through towards the Coca-Cola curve towards the end of the lap. And so far Swain looking pretty happily in control, but there is some lap traffic just ahead. Going to need to negotiate this well, as obviously it's a little bit more open up in this sector compared to the regular GP layout that we have become familiar with in recent years. But we head on to that start-finish straight. Driver in front very consciously, courteously moves out of the way as we get ready to start the next lap.
Indeed, that was Steve Hicks. Steve Hicks is on circuit, everybody, for the first time this season. He's not 100% fit. I have seen some of the X-rays. He's still not 100% fit, but fair play to Hicksy for getting out on circuit and being part of the group. At the moment, though, I've got some really, really bad news for Steve Hicks fans. He's not even scoring championship points at the moment. He's the top 40 who scored championship points in one of these races. So right now, I'm not quite sure what Hicks is, apart from a bit of pride, maybe being out on circuit for the first time this season. So, no, good to see Steve Hicks back in the action. Matt Swain starting to pull away. I'm trying to see if I can find the moment where Matt got through. And as I say, I reckon it was in the pits. But as you can imagine, on our events log, there's been quite a few changes of position in the last few laps. But either way, it's another impressive run, isn't it, for Matt Swain? We saw him have a good performance last time out of the GT3s at Sebring, and he definitely looks, it looks like this is his preferred format over the MX-5.
Yeah, you're going to find that, aren't you, with the MX-5 being obviously the car and the format being tailored more towards your sprint driver or someone who might be a little bit more familiar with club level racing, but the GT3 drivers, those who have got plenty of experience, say another CLUB100 or perhaps iRacing endurance events as well, they're going to have to be a bit more geared towards what we're enjoying this evening as we head on to that start-finish straight. A little bit of a square of the back end from Swain that allows Andrews to close up just that little bit more. But this time around, it seems to be that it's the Aston pulling away from the Mustang this time around.
Yeah, indeed. I found it. Let's see. Who was out of the pits first between these two then? Your screen's probably got blank in your state. Yeah, Matt Swain just got the jump on Max Andrews out of the pits. So without having the exact data in front of me, Reeve, I reckon that's fuel saving. I reckon Matt's just been able to save a little bit more fuel than Max across the course of that first stint, being in the tow. Of course, you know, across the course of the whole race, you can imagine they need a similar amount of fuel to achieve those 40 minutes. Quite simply, Matt Swain's little top-up was that critical bit shorter than Max Andrews' top-up, and that's what's giving him the lead in this race, but he's made a mistake! made a mistake and through goes Andrews. Max Andrews retakes the lead of this race. Matt Swain has made a critical error there. Arguably unforced. Let's have another look at that again, because that was, we'll try and do it from an onboard position to show you what happened from the cockpit. But that is a mighty, mighty moment for Matt Swain. This was it, down in towards the, oh, massive snap. Swain has done amazingly well to keep that car pointing in the right direction.
He has indeed. That is an odd one. I don't think I've ever seen a GT3 car just dive off towards the other side of the circuit like that before, almost as if the rear end was still gripped up, but everything else was giving up. That is an odd one. Either way, as you say, Swain pointing in the right direction, now back on the attack. We've probably got about 2, maybe 3 laps left to go in this race, more like 2 full laps. What can Swain do in that time? He can only hope at this point to force an error. Yeah,
this might be the last lap actually, because they've been doing 1:52s recently, and well, we're on lap number 21 now, which would be the expected number of laps for a 1:52 kind of pace. Race 2's grid, of course, will be set by the finishing order of this one. I think there's been some changes going on for 5th place as well. Is there an almighty battle going on between Saunders and Grossman? Yes, there is. Look at this. Coming out of the arena, Grossman trying to go around the outside of the Aston Martin. Gets a little bit squirrely and all over the place. Is on the grass, still on the grass is Ronald Grossman. That's an incredible piece of car control to keep himself in the race. He's one of the drivers who's moved up from Clubman to Premier since round number 3. Tom Saunders doing his best to hold on here. Ronald Grossman, first of the Ferraris right now. What a mighty bit of racing we've had so far in this race, Reeve, and we've still got another race to go, of course.
Absolutely looking forward to that one, but what a save by the home hero there, proving that Ferrari apparently have a rallycross program going on as we go back to our race leader, who's looking just that little bit more comfortable now, isn't he? 2.5 seconds is that race lead, the largest margin outside of pit stops, etc., that a race leader has enjoyed, and I think there's not a car in front of Andrew there. That the flashing of the headlights is just in celebration.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's going to be another 120 points on the championship tally for Max Andrews, who's going to take race 1 of the night in really entertaining fashion. Matt Swain will come home P2. It's going to be Adam Brown in the top 3. Good points for Adam Brown. Brown needed that first of the Scots home. It'll be Sam Spinell in 4th place, just ahead of Tom Saunders. Ronald Grossman P6. Cameron Watson next over the line. Where is our battle for intermediate? Matthew Shawley's going to take that, but it's a great first drive from Johnny Pinder in the British Racing Green and Orange Aston Martin over the line there, second in intermediates. Now let's try and find who our top rookie's going to be. It's going to be Colin Ward across the line as the first rookie in the 329. I do like those colours on a McLaren. The green and the yellow. And this is going to be some good points as well for Colin Ward. A good few positions ahead of the next rookie over the line there. How many drivers are we going to get on the lead lap as well? I think it's going to be 30, you know, on the lead lap. Which is really, really good to see from a field of 42. Reeve, as the last drivers come over the line, thoughts on that race? Really, really dramatic one, both in terms of the race itself, but also championship. Another bit of a blow for Axel Slijepcevic down in P15.
Absolutely, he was putting on an immense drive, and I thought some really clever tactics by him. Unfortunately, it was trying to execute those tactics where it seemed to go wrong, but overall our drivers doing a really good job of capitalising on those overtaking opportunities that this track does provide, and putting on a great show for us just when perhaps when the action might have been beginning to dip, the strategy opens up in the final course of the race, and it's all to play for once again. Fantastic stuff.
Indeed. We'll just wait for the last few drivers to come over the line before we have a look at the race result. We'll have a 10-minute break between the two races. Here is your result then from the first race of the night. Max Andrews takes another victory here in the Club 100 iRacing Championship. 120 points onto his championship score right now, but remember, with how the drop scores work, when we do get to that stage of the season, it's all about the race night score. So when we get to the latter stage of the season, you drop your worst cumulative GT3 night, as it were. The first of your 3 drops, the other being an MX5 worst night of the season, and then the next worst one, whether it's GT3 or an MX5. But either way, if he wants to make those 120 points really count, he's got to have another good result in the second race. Matt Swain P2, Adam Brown P3. Good results there for all of those drivers. Sam Spinell, the first of the Clubman's Home P4, ahead of Tom Saunders, Ronald Grossman, ahead of Cam Watson, Andy Alston, Tom Roberts. Good recovery there for Tom Roberts after problems in the early stages. Gets back into the top 10, just ahead of Jack Eyre. Matthew Shawnee and Johnny Pinder, 2 absolute stars there in intermediate, 11th and 12th ahead of Lawrence Vines, Tim Ellis, Axel Slijepcevic. So it must have been some form of penalty automated in by iRacing. We saw a little black flag come up on our SDK Gaming graphics. We don't know exactly what it is or what it was for. It could have been for an irregularity with his pit entry. We'll try and find out as soon as we can. Rob Crawford, Mike Weddle and John Ailey all in the top 18 as I try and find my button for where we get to page number 2. There it is. Yusuf Binter-Hale and Magnus Ridevold both in the top 20. Colin Ward first of the rookies home, ahead of Joel Julius, Mike Hart, Sam Dimolo, Dan Cook. Fremont, Whitehouse, Knight, Patterson and Holland take us down to 30th place. So good podiums in rookie there for Cook and for Patterson. And then those off the lead lap. Hale, Delamere, Singh, Mock, Wong, Mignon 2 laps down, had problems early on. And then other drivers in trouble. Boylan, Castro. Oh, João Castro had a retirement late on as well there. Apologies that we missed that. Ollie Walker issues. I think we'll get a couple of points for 40th place. And then Steve Hicks and Asan Iqbal 41st and 42nd. Right, Reeve, we will take about a 5-minute break whilst the warm-up session, the warm-down session, whatever we want to call it, goes on. We'll be back for race number 2 after this. Green flag about to be in the air. There it is. Eyes on those lights. They're coming on. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights. The KZ third heat is go. Good start for Albanese. He's going to hold the lead into turn 1 ahead of Gustafsson. The rest of the field filing through. Good start down into turn 2 and turn 3. The race result because of Mottram's penalty, but Daniel Munro has had this titanic duel with Rory O'Regan this year. It wasn't Rory's day, but it is Daniel Munro's day. Daniel Munro wins at Rye House and is champion for the 2nd year in a row in a Club 100 Juniors category. Yeah, and always going to switch back here to the inside. That's a beautiful move by Reed on the inside through Park. Showed a bit of a dummy there to Carl Garnett. Brave stuff from the championship leader. That's him up to 3rd before. As there is Hugo Schwarzer out of the race. Well, we were talking about Slater needing to outscore Schwarzer by 10 points. As Charlie Hart's off and into the grass, catches it up and somehow keeps himself in 2nd place and pointing in the right direction. Fernandez has lost a position. I think it's Seaworthen who's come through into 2nd place. What a moment. Push on these tyres. We've seen it throughout the weekend that the Maxxis compound really rewards a driver, but he's going to have to take a lot of energy out of himself and the cars as we look at a replay here of Martinez and Leisen side by side into turn 1. Wow. Really close there. Bit of contact between the two of them. And Martinez up on the curb. This is another replay. This time it's Craigie versus Martinez into the same portion of the circuit. There you see Martinez trying to go around the outside, gets off the rubbered in part of track, and that's where he loses out to Jack Eiler. It was right on the limit of adhesion for Schaufler. On the brakes down the inside, comes Dries van Langendonk, immediately retakes the lead at the next opportunity into turn 1. Menz is going to go down the inside. Big move from the Briton for Ricky Flynn. Motorsport, and it's worked. Costoya goes through as well. Arias is now challenging Schaufler. It's all gone wrong for the the Austrian. 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go. This is Dries van Langendonk's best opportunity now. He's got to go hard and break away from the rest of them, leave them fighting for second place. Oh, it's down the inside, contact, and Letty spins, and Schaufler retires, both of them out, no points at all for the championship leader. Letty is absolutely furious. That is the risk.
Two championship rivals side by side. Ovenden's got past Nicky Taylor, and now the sight that Alex Solly did not want to see this weekend. It started as an absolute disaster for Tom Ovenden, retiring on lap 1 of race 1. Now he finds himself side by side with Alex Solly heading towards Copse Corner. Harry Hickton's trying to make an overtake as well on Jack Byrne there, and I think he's pulled it off through Copse Corner. Side by side once again between Solly and Ovenden. Ovenden takes a hop across the curve.
Moved by Buckley on Mackie. I think they're resigned to fighting for the last spot on the podium. Can Benjamin Magnac get another home victory? He looks to the inside, and there's the near contact there. Through goes Benjamin Magnac. What a move through turn 4. By side, they're wheel banging through turn 12. It's still not done. One more corner to go. Pradir down the inside. Has he carried too much speed? He's got the control. Thomas Pradir's going to take it on the line, but here comes Magnac. Magnac on the line, and he takes it. Benjamin Magnac wins it with a classic at Swearer by 0.015. It's a home victory for the Spaniard, and he takes the lead in the championship. What a finish. It's not bad for either of them to the inside. Pritchard Williams, that's going to bring Hunter back into play. Cunnington back into play. Higgins, Lilly, McQueen, Bishop, Geraghty, Graham, Joshua Graham's back in this as well. That's down into Ashby. Teddy Pritchard Williams is trying to hold the ball up. Surely this is going to come to blows for someone. 3 wide. McQueen round the outside takes 4th place. That is experience. This is why he's been race winner in this race so many times, 3 times before. Can he find a way through? Back in comes Gilbert as well, over the curb again, jumping over that curb. Huge amounts of it taken by Guy Cunnington. There's going to be 3 more laps of this one, ladies and gentlemen, and we still don't know. We haven't a clue who's going to be Open Champion for 2024. Hunter to the outside! And goes across the grass. Pritchard Williams spins out, and it's gone, because Macaulay Bishop, the winner of the junior race last year, with 2 laps to go, Hunter is out. That is it. The run for the last 2 years will not continue to 3, and it's 1, 2, 3 clear of the field. Gilbert defends the outside. Bishop around the outside. That is outrageous. The junior champion from last year has done thousands of overtakes round Wilton Mill over the years. That may well be the best one he's ever done. Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the CLUB100 iRACING Championship, round number 4. Let's take the results from heat number 1 off the screens. We've got about 90 seconds before we start gridding up Reeve for race number 2. I say, very back and forth first race. Any one of those 3 drivers, Andrews, Swain, Slepčević, could have won that one, really. But the grid going to be mixed up a little bit in this next one as well, do you think?
I think so, yeah. It could be very interesting to see how the dynamic is going to be different heading into those first few corners now that, you know, it's a little bit less based on 1 lap pace and more about what you've already been able to achieve in the racing so far. I'm curious as well to see, for the likes of Slepčević, strategy ended up being a huge part of the race, not only because of what could have been, but also because of the issues that were had out on track. So I imagine we're going to see drivers approaching the strategy heading into the second heat a little bit differently.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. To say, we're not too far away from that second race gridding up. Thank you very much for joining us. If you've enjoyed the broadcast so far, particularly if you're new around here, do click that like button. Let's try and get up to 15 likes. By the end of the broadcast today. And big thanks to those of you who've hit the subscribe button as well. We're on the road to try and get 1,000 subscribers, but I quite like it at the moment, Reeve, that as we're ticking through the subscribers, we keep hitting model numbers of really cool Porsches. And we've currently hit 969. 969.
Well, I'll have to unsubscribe then, because I've just subscribed now, because I wasn't already subscribed, I hate to admit, but I'll unsubscribe, Andrew, it's fine. We'll stay at 969, that is a cool Porsche.
It is a good Porsche. We'll have to get to 991. That's got to be the next target. Anyway, let's have a look through the grid of the next race, if the technology is going to allow. There we go. Max Andrews, Matt Swain there on the front row again. Adam Brown is now joined by Sam Spinell for row number 2 in this one. Tom Saunders and Ronald Grossman, row 3. Cam Watson and Andy Alston, row 4. Tom Roberts and Jack Eyre on row 5. First of the intermediates. Really good drives in that first race from both Shawnee and Pinder. Vines and Ellis, row 7. Slijepcevic goes from row 8 in this one. Has Rob Crawford for company there. Crawford third of the intermediates in that first race. Weddell and Ady on row 9. Bin Sahale and Riddervold, decent scores for them in the top half of the field on row 10 for the start of this one. First of the rookies, Colin Ward is joined by Joel Julius on row 11. Mike Hart and Sam Dimolo go from row number 12. Continuing on, Dan Cook, second of the rookies, is alongside James Fremont on row 13. David Whitehouse and Peter Knight go from 14. Sean Patterson and Tom Holland make up an all-rookie row 15. Matt Hale and Simon Delamere, row 16. Aaron Singh and Martin Mock, row 17. Rick Wong and Eric Mignon go from row 18. And then completing the grid for this one, it is Jack Mitchell-Lowe, Kira Boylan, Joao Castro, Ollie Walker, Steve Hicks and Asan Iqbal. So as we cycle that back through, the formation lap is underway, and this is going to be another dramatic one, I'm sure, here. Reeve, take us through the starts.
Here we go then, side by side, our race leaders weaving about to get as much temperature as possible into those front tyres for that all-important run down through the Castrol S. We're getting ready to head on to the start, finish straight, and once again, something you're familiar with already, folks, it's going to be Andrews versus Swain. We're foot to the floor, and we are green and ready to go racing. Here we go then. Andrews gets a fantastic start. Swain in P2, but Spinell and Brown squabbling as they are side by side. Spinell actually having a look around the outside, potentially, on Swain as we head into that first corner. Andrews looking composed as he leads us through and into the Mercedes Arena. Left-handers coming up in just a moment. Swain maintains P2. Spinell and Brown are still squabbling out for that final spot on the overall podium, but of course it is going to be Spinell who's leading your Clubman's drive there. Watch out as well for Grossman, who's potentially pushing on up and trying to close in on Adam Brown as well, but it's Andrews under pressure side by side is Grossman.
Johnny Pinder in trouble as the Aston Martin's gone round and trying to select him, but he keeps falling down the order. There he is, he's got going again now. Joins just in front of Simon Delamere, and that looked to be just coming out of the arena section. I think Matthew Shawnee may have been involved as well. Let's have another look at that again. So this was Shawnee down towards turn number 1. So this must have been the first incident for Shawnee. Looking relatively... Oh, we just get tapped at the back. That's a very strange one. For Shawnee, not quite clear from that angle fully what fully happened there. Rob Crawford had problems as well. He's on the outside there in the black Ferrari, and he gets tagged by Axel Slijepcevic. Keeps himself in the middle of the road, just has to be patient. There's another car going off there. That may have been Peter Knight. Let's have another further look at what happened to Johnny Pinder. So this was his view in for things. It's a little bit further up the order. There you see the spin in the background once again. We lost Johnny's connection for a moment there. Couldn't quite tell whether that was just on cold tyres or a case of him getting a little bit of physical assistance, shall we say. Meanwhile, battles on at the front of the order. Swain is taking the lead.
Swain goes down the inside. Nice run there. Might have a bit of a switchback though for Max Andrews. Heads on through into Arena. Swain maintains that lead, using the track nicely there. Is this the move that was threatened for so long in race 1, finally executed right here at the start of race 2? Andrews potentially under threat. Andrews goes round! Andrews round and up into the grass, into the wall there. Disaster for our race 1 victor.
Oh, big moment for Max Andrews, not just in this race, but potentially in the championship. As nearly makes contact with one of the rookie McLarens there as well. Don't really like to see that. But what happened there with Max Andrews? Let's have a look at that again. To see, was that just a mistake on his own, or was there a bit of contact? This is the reverse angle of it. Now watch out for Adam Brown's Aston Martin behind. Is there a tag? No, I don't think there is. No, that was pure driver error. Oh my goodness, Sam Spinell has done very well indeed to get away with that one. I think then Max has maybe just panicked a little bit. He reversed the back of the Mustang into the wall. Hopefully he's not got too much damage. And then this is very close as well. Oh, Dan Cook will have had his heart in his mouth at that moment. So more dramas here at the Nürburgring. What a start to things here tonight. It's a Rethink Racing 1-2 right now with Swain and Adam Brown, the two Aston Martins at the front of the field. Tom Saunders is now up to P3 as well. This is a mighty start to this race, but it looks like Sam Spinell may be going on the attack in a moment as well. Let's go on board with Sam Spinell as they head down to turn 1.
Here we go then, we watch Spinell having a look down the inside into the Castrolette, an favourite overtaking move, of course, of many a race here at the Nürburgring GP layout. Executed well by Spinell, but there's an opportunity here for Saunders to claw it back as we're still side by side. Spinell is not able to box off that overtake just yet because through goes Saunders. Maybe not though, as we head round through the right-hander once again. We drop down towards the Ford curve in just a moment. Oh,
great racing once again on board now with Ronald Grossman, who looks to want to have a piece of the action here. Downhill now, got to be patient through this part of the circuit, quite tight through the exit of sector number 1. Down now towards and out of the Ford curve and down towards the Dunlop curve. There's a good scrap going on again. There's always that a moment for Spinell. Spinell's lost that position, got offline, and that allows Saunders to get back down the inside and retake third place and the lead in the clubman category. As things stand, this is a mighty start to this second race of the night. Everybody attacking with plenty of gusto in the early stages here, Reeve. Very entertaining stuff indeed.
Absolutely, you could be forgiven for thinking it's a sprint, given just how much we are seeing early on. As Spinell has a look potentially around the outside. What great looking livery on that car, by the way, I must say. Well done to Spinell for that one. I'm getting big M8 GT vibe from the Mustang. Down the inside, great move into the final corner. Still side by side, but Spinell wins out this time. The headlights are ablaze on the Aston that is now side by side with Ronald Grossman as well. We see contact between the two, a bit of touring car action there as we head into the first corner yet again. Watch out for Grossman, who has the inside here. There is an issue of a Mustang right in front though. Saunders has to back out, head around the outside here, and Grossman is still maintaining that side by side action. Just about loses out though, and in fact through comes Jack Eyre as well.
Yeah, Andy Elston getting involved in another of the Rethink Racing machines in the Rethink Racing Mustang. Great opportunistic driving there from the Scotsman. Gets him through and ahead of Grossman, and here comes Tom Roberts down the inside. Tom Roberts wheel to wheel now with Grossman. Oh dear, Grossman getting battled out here, but he fights back now. This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant stuff in the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Jack Eyre has now got ahead of Tom Roberts. Roberts re-attacks back down the inside. That's going to be tight through the Dunlop curve. Someone's run out wide. It's one of the back markers. I think it's that Aaron Singh just has had problems in the early stages of this one as Eyre holds on to 7th place ahead of Roberts now. Do these guys know they've still got 33 minutes to go in this one, Reeve? They're racing as if it's the last race, the last lap of the championship.
I'm not sure they do, and I think they're having far too much fun out there, and we are certainly as well watching on as we see Watson now joins in on the fun. This what seems to be a Mustang party so far, really. It seems to be the big Mustangs bullying the smaller cars out of the way. Seems to be the name of the game at the moment in this mid-pack action. As we head up towards the Coca-Cola curves, once again, Watson kissing those apexes beautifully there. Riding up onto the curb is Tom Roberts just in front. A little bit of oversteer creeping in as we head onto the start-finish straight once again. Look at the train of cars we've got now as Roberts goes side by side with Air there. Has the inside for Castrol, if he can maintain a decent turn of pace into that first corner, is going to be able to hook that inside. Let's see how that switchback move presents itself here. Towards Arena we go, and Air takes a tighter line. We'll try and hang it around the outside into that first entry phase of Arena. It's right on the rear diffuser of Tom Roberts out in front. A driver who did not have any hopes really after qualifying, now fighting at the top end of stuff in this second race of the evening.
I think this one might just about be starting to calm down. Let's have a little bit of a look down the order. We've had changes, big changes in intermediate. John Adey has taken the lead in intermediate due to the issues for both Matthew Shawnee and Johnny Pinder. Also, David Whitehouse in the Mind Charity Ferrari up to second place now in the intermediate category. Intermediate very much for those drivers looking to develop, but also very much for, I don't want to call them the gentleman drivers, but you know, the kind of drivers who maybe don't have as much time and resource to spend on iRacing. David Whitehouse has been a loyal driver, part of this championship for many a year, having a really, really good run at the moment in that class. Right. A lot has happened. Let's try and catch you up with some of the other things that have happened out there. Mike Hart has had an incident earlier on. Whoa, that's the back end of that incident for Mike Hart, who's had a few thrills and spills out there tonight. And another one. Eric Mignon has had a crash as well. I love the livery on this Aston Martin, which Eric has confirmed to me is very much a homage to the Belgian Compte-U racing team. Who race Aston Martins in GT Racing. That's a half little spin for Eric, nothing too much to worry about there. Aaron Singh had problems as well in the portion of the 350. Oh, it's going to be repeating what we saw earlier for Aaron. Thankfully this time he goes out into the runoff and doesn't catch the leaders out with that one. Jack Mitchell-Lowe may have done the same thing into the same corner in his Aston Martin a couple of laps ago as well. Oh, just gets too much of a curve, back end of the car comes around and safely out onto the runoff. Matt Swain's had an incident. What has happened to Matt Swain, the race leader? This was going through the arena, and has he dropped it off the curb? No, he's just dropped it on downshift. Oh my goodness me! Matt Swain becomes the latest driver in the lead of these races tonight. That's now all three of them. Andrews has had his problems at the start of this race. Swain just there. And of course as well, we saw Slijepcevic having problems early on. So your race leader is now going to be Adam Brown. Adam Brown, after all of his bad luck over the last 18 months, probably shorter than 18 months, but the last season or so of Adam Brown in the CLUB100 iRacing Championship, he's always had the speed, but never really seemed to have the rub of the green in terms of getting race results. Well, here he is, Reeve, 11 minutes into this 40-minute race, in the lead, and by quite a distance as well. The gap at the moment, looking, 2.3, nearly 2.5 seconds.
Yep, that matches the biggest gap that we saw in race one at any given moment. Really impressive stuff from Brown. I think the difference was all in the first couple of laps. He was there or thereabouts, wasn't gunning for those really high positions, was just keeping his nose clean, was having a bit of a battle here or there, but has gained a few positions as a result of the misfortunes of those leading drivers, and is now looking pretty comfortable at the moment. As we say that, did we just see the back end kick out there? I think he caught it, but yeah, well held by Adam Brown there.
It's one of those nights where you almost don't want to be a race leader, because things just seem to be happening. The iRacing gods are plotting a bit of a merry game for us here tonight at the Nürburgring. Peter Knight has had a crash as well. What has happened to the Paragon Mustang was tucked up behind I think that's Rick Wong there. Oh, just gets on the grass. Oh, makes contact with the Porsche as well. So Peter having a bit of a problem there. Max Andrews has been into the pits, so that's quite an early stop for Max Andrews. So he's not necessarily had a problem, but maybe thinking the reverse strat now as the race leader comes up behind. That's Kira Boylan in the Motorsport Woman Corvette. So I wonder if for Andrews he's thought, oh, that's getting a little bit too close. That's a bit unnecessary there between race leader and back marker.
Yeah, I suspect there was just a bit of vying for some track position when necessary, as you say, perhaps didn't need to be at that point. Well, we are able to continue. Obviously, no harm, no foul overall, really. Everyone's still pointing in the correct direction. Adam Brown still controlling this race nicely.
Indeed. Jack Mitchell-Lowe's had a problem, and into the pits goes the race leader. I wonder if there's a little bit of damage there and whether this is an election to go, do you know what, I've just had contact with another driver. Let's get in, use the fast repair. As yeah, not the first time we've seen that kind of spin. Jack Mitchell-Lowe this time having a problem through the arena. I just wonder for Brown whether I just thought the car looked behaviour-wise a little bit strange coming through the right-hander before the Vidal chicane. Whether Brown has felt that and thought, right, get in, this is not when I was planning to stop, get that fast repair done, get back out on track with a fully fit car, and look to go long in this one. Now, the crucial thing here is, does Brown get out ahead of Andrews? Because we've seen Max Andrews in, and the answer is yes. So Adam Brown out in 19th, Max Andrews down in P27. Matt Swain, he takes the lead of this race, Reeve.
Could be gifted a lifeline here based on how the strategy plays out. Obviously, we see that the leading Aston has just taken a, as you say, a very quick repair there. Might have to see how things play out for the strategy later on, but Swain, I imagine, might be thinking, oh, I liked what Axel did in that previous race. Might be thinking, let's change up the strategy. Could be going as long as possible now that they have the lead of this race.
I think there's no concern if you've stopped in the last lap or so of getting to the end on fuel, because as you say, Reeve, we saw the three leaders going, what, 28, 29 minutes?
I suppose. I didn't even we're already 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise that.
And, I think if you do fill up now, whilst probably it's not option A because the car is heavier for a longer period of the race, that's why you generally see these drivers go burn off the fuel and then go for a splash and dash for the last 12 minutes or so, keeping the car as light as possible for as long as possible. Got to imagine that Matt Swain's probably going to stick to that strategy here. He's got track position as well. Right now, a 2.5 second lead. Slijepcevic is up to P8. So right now, just to recap, drivers who have stopped: Adam Brown on lap 7, Max Andrews on lap 6. We've also seen Sam Dimolo in on lap 6. Ollie Walker has been in as well, lap 7, Kira Boylan lap 5. So I think all of those drivers, those are the ones who should be good through to the end. We have had other drivers in on lap 1 and lap 2, of course. Hicks has been in, Crawford's been in, Shawnee, Pinder have all visited pit lane. So they all might still need to pit again. For the simple reason they're going to run out of fuel before the end of the 40 minutes. But right now, Matt Swain, imagine here, Reeve, he's just going to try and go into time trial mode now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got that clean running, got that clear air to do so as well. Got a nice clean track in front of him, and we're watching the second times here on that last lap. It's pretty blistering from Swain. A couple of purple sectors in there as obviously the fuel load begins to get lighter in that car. We go on board with Tom Roberts. He's not showing his RT Media logos off today, so we're not going to give him all that much screen time, of course. But doing a very commendable job as well. Currently second on the road in the Prems class.
We'll have a look at how this change for second place occurred. It was down towards the Dunlop curve. Roberts likes that move to the inside of Spinell. That's a good move from Tom Roberts to take second place in this race. And just give himself a little bit of breathing room now as well to extend into. Good scrap going on between Andy Elston and Tom Saunders.
Yeah, absolutely seen. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom Saunders trying to get through there. Defensive shape being pulled by Andy Elston. I think that caught Tom Saunders out a little bit there. He went a bit deep through the first corner. Jack Hare still there as well in 6th place. Grossman, Weddle. So Yusuf bin Sahel having a good opening to this race. Yusuf,
yeah,
got a livery on again, mate. What's going on? But running well right now, up in 10th place.
Yeah, 9 positions gained since start of this race. It's a really strong showing for a good haul of points for one of our Club100 drivers here.
I want to say, I think he was racing an enduro car again last weekend.
He was indeed. Yeah. I didn't quite see how the results went for that one. Obviously, the previous year it went very well indeed. So
I don't think it was as good this year. Wasn't good there. From what I saw. Oh, problems in rookie. Colin Ward has had a crash. What has happened to the green and yellow? I like to call it the Colin Chapman livery McLaren. Whoa, just lost the back end. Does very keep it on the wall. Oh, just nudges into the wall there. There's Colin. Oh, that's going to be really rough. I hope that's not given Colin damage on the front right, because if it has, he's got to do a whole lap with that damage, or alternatively pull over and tow into the pits. Either way, he's going to lose a lot of time there. It means that the lead in rookie has changed and has been handed over to Daniel Cook. So Daniel Cook has had some dramas so far in this race. We already saw that close moment with Max Andrews early on. Right now, Cook is now your new rookie class leader. Biggest mover in the race so far. I hope I don't curse it this time. I really hope I don't curse it this time, because it is Steve Hicks up into the top 25. First time we've been able to say that this season. At the moment, dealing with Matthew Shawnee immediately behind, running in a 154.3.
Yeah, that's a fantastic race start for Steve Hicks here. Maybe though those final few laps weren't just for pride, they were a little bit of racecraft experience building before jumping in to some race 2 action here. But as you say, having a bit of company from the beaver-toothed M4 GT3 just behind. I can say that we've got one parked outside our house. It's good for Halloween.
You're allowed to make BMW jokes, being a BMW owner yourself.
BMW victim, yes.
Yes, down towards the first turn goes Matthew Shawnee. These are still decent points for Matthew Shawnee. Oh, now there was a Mustang off there. Was that Peter Knight, possibly? I think it was. Peter was running a few positions ahead in P21. Back at, just bottoms out there a little bit, off the curb. And Peter goes for a bit of a spin in a 247. He assures me he will have green number plates on for the next race. But gets going again there. Back on board now with Matthew Shawnee. This battle for 23rd place. Lead gap extending out now, Reeve. 3.2 seconds for Matt Swain over Tom Roberts. Also looks like Axel Slijepcevic has gone for a change. Has gone in for a pit stop. I wondered whether Axel might do that, knowing that he's in a bit of traffic at the moment, but we know he's got good pace in clean air. So this could be quite a shrewd move by Axel Slijepcevic. Interestingly, has come out behind Adam Brown to the tune of about 6.5 seconds.
Yeah, this could be a shrewd play by Slijepcevic here. As you mentioned, Andrew, has some really strong pace. He's only about a tenth or so off the best that we are seeing from our frontrunners, that being Tom Roberts at the moment. A 52.8 is what I can see on my timing system here. So Slijepcevic getting very close to that indeed. So with a bit of clean air out in front, might just be able to push on towards that midfield as they're going to start entering the pits, and effectively the track just kind of opens up for him and he brings himself right back in to that front running action here.
Yeah, I'd fully agree with that thought. It's not going to be the most exciting of races for Axel Slijepcevic, but right now he needs to get some points on the board. Started this season very, very well, of course, with those 2 opening wins at Navarra in the MX-5s in round one, and since then it just really hasn't gone Axel's way. Lost a race victory 2 weeks ago at Knott Hill in the stewards' room. No Sam Sander's note here tonight, so Sam's going to be taking a drop score for this one. That's the driver who inherited the race victory after Slijepcevic got a 10-second penalty. Problems for Matt Hale. What's happened to Matt here? This is down in towards turn one. Eric Mignon on the inside. Ferrari thing's going to happen. Yes, round goes the back end of the Leffe G3 Pro Ferrari. But nothing more than that. Matt will get back on his way. Currently running in 32nd position. As we've got a bit more pit activity here, Reeve might weddle into the pits from 12th place.
Mike dips into the pits. One of a decent, potential decent point score here for one of our clubman drivers. Will head out. Nice quick pit stop there, finding those no fouls, no falling foul of any regulations that iRacing has built in. She'll be able to go. She'll be able to continue on quite nicely. It heads down in to that first corner and has a very clear track to enjoy some running in as well.
Yeah, it's come out about 4.5 seconds behind Slijepcevic there. So if Michael can run some good pace, he's been in the 153s, could still be on for a really good result here and definitely a top 10 later on. We are into the second half of time on this race. 16 minutes remaining here. Let's check back in with our race leader, Matt Swain. Looking good right now at the front of the field. 2.7 seconds the advantage over Tom Roberts.
Yeah, really strong drive from both our race leaders here. Interesting this evening from Tom Roberts. Tom headed into this, I can give you a little bit of insider paddock knowledge, if you will. Tom went into this season expecting that the McLaren was going to be his car. It's the car he's ran with for a little while and he's familiar with, but as the rounds have progressed, maybe he's just got that feeling that the Mustang's going to be the car of choice. Now, he has been slightly naughty and didn't quite register with the Mustang in before the deadline. Now, did he? Andrew? So he will be receiving penalty points for running said Mustang without the correct livery on it either. But clearly, that choice working very well for him at the moment. Up 7 positions in this race at the moment. Yeah,
there are a few drivers who will they'll get a warning for running in the car that they didn't register with by the 6 PM deadline yesterday, and to be honest, that's more of an administration deadline than a sporting deadline. So that's why it's not going to receive any sporting penalties. They'll get a warning for it, similar to their livery regulations, and they'll get a point on their license, so it will still count towards that. And if they're very naughty drivers as the year goes on, that can then form into some form of sporting regulation. We hope not, of course. The drivers are given a good amount of leeway before they start getting race bans. I'm very happy to say that in the 2 years that the license point system has been running, no one is to receive a race ban yet, and long may that continue.
Oh, commentator's curse is a brave game to be playing at this phase of the championship.
I know. And it's the points act on a 12-month rolling basis, similar to Formula One's penalty point systems on their licenses as well. So there we go. Oh, now, have we had more problems in the rookie class? I think we have. Has Daniel Cook had a spin? Our leader in the rookie category gets out on the curb. Oh, downshift, and is the back end going to rotate round? Yes, it is. So once again, quite a few of the mid-engined cars having problems in that part of the course. So through go a couple of drivers. Although I don't actually know, he's not lost the lead as Daniel. Yeah, he's not lost the lead in rookie. So that is good to see. Here are the leaders in the rookie category. They've both had a spin now. Cook and Ward. Separated by not a lot at all. Neither of them have had their pit stops yet, as right on cue, Colin Ward decides to go for some fuel.
Yep, good timing there by Ward, so it falls straight into that category, Andrew, that you mentioned before. That final 12 minutes, it becomes a bit of a sprint race now for Colin Ward. He dips in, picks up some fuel in his car, and will go for one last blast. Expect to see those times tumbling down for one of our rookie race leaders here. They head back out and go for one last ditched attempt to close up any gaps that might have been built up over the race and get some really strong times. And we go on board with John Ade now, who is doing a commendable job of leading the intermediate class at the moment. Saw that name popping up at a few moments as we see a little bit of gravel on track as well, a little bit being kicked up by John too, but currently John in the M4 leading the intermediate class.
Leading by quite a distance as well, 42 seconds, albeit I think everybody else has made their pit stop at least. David Whitehouse definitely has made his on lap number 8. John Ade going long, sticking to plan A. Is it still plan A for Matt Swain though? The pace has been very good from Swain in recent laps. He's just got Matt Hale ahead of him at the moment. To deal with is a bit of a back marker. 2.3 seconds. The gap to Roberts does keep going back and forth a bit. Roberts is not out of this yet. I wonder, is this the point where I was wondering whether Swain would actually go for the stop there. Matt Hale's not going to make things too difficult here of getting down the inside as the race leader and on his way. And Swain doesn't want to lose too much time at this stage here, Reeve, if this traffic's building up.
No, he certainly does not. Needs to capitalise upon any gaps that he can grab out on track as well and use that traffic potentially to his advantage. So pick the moments to get past and make sure that your rival kind of trips up on that traffic when would be less than ideal, and that might be looking pretty good for that. At the moment we've seen, you know, heading in through Castrol and through the arena, it's quite wide, that part of the circuit. It's quite easy for traffic to move out of the way or to just stay in situ and allow race leaders to head on through. But as we head down towards the likes of the Dunlop or Schumacher or heading through Gumo, it all gets a little bit tighter, all gets a little bit more technical, and might just be trickier for drivers to find a way past.
It is, and I tell you what, this is going to be tight on time. I've just tried to do the thing that I always get really annoyed with Formula One graphics that they don't do at this stage of the race. Tell me what the gap is to those who have already stopped. Well, right now, Adam Brown is 35.5 seconds back. Pit lane time for most people is one of the bits of information being fed through to us here by SDK Gaming. Good amounts of time on pit lane is 35, 36, 37 seconds. So it's going to be close. It's going to be really, really close, I think, once Matt Swain comes in. And that's why I think maybe doing the pit stop now, and Swain makes the same decision as Roberts is in as well. They don't want to be losing time behind traffic, because there is a risk here that Adam Brown and Axel Slijepcevic are going to do the undercut by just having not necessarily track position, but a little bit of clearer track room around them after their respective pit stops. Of course, they've got to get down pit lane, not have any speeding in. Pit lane penalties, apologies, still not quite sure why Axel Slijepcevic had a penalty in his first race. I do wonder whether it was just cutting across the line a little bit too late or pit lane speed. This is the moment then where there is Swain out of the box. Where is Brown? There is Adam Brown. We said this was going to be close. So Adam Brown will have a bit more pace down into turn one, but I think Swain has done enough here to hold on to the race lead. Slijepcevic has just set the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1 minute 52.72. And in fact, Tom Roberts has got out ahead of Adam Brown as well. So great work from Swain and Roberts, particularly those last few laps of that first stint, Reeve. They've been able to turn the tide. It looked like Brown and Slijepcevic were going to get them with the undercut, but their strategy for the moment has prevailed.
Yeah, absolutely. The undercut not quite going to plan there. It was close for Roberts, but he did make it work, and in the end it's built up a decent gap. Brown's going to have to worry more about what Slijepcevic is doing instead of focusing on trying to claw back that race lead. We're on board now with Mr. Cameron Watson, who leads us on the road, technically, at least according to my time assistant. That might be incorrect. Either way, he is the leading clubman at the moment, doing a mighty job. First time we've seen a home hero BMW in charge in the racing.
It is indeed. I don't think Cameron's going to be able to hold on to the Clubman lead here, because Sam Spinell is about 22 seconds back on the road, and of course has already served his pit stop. In fact, Watson is the only driver currently circulating who has not been in. Will come in now and look to maybe emerge back around the Michael Weddle kind of area. P11, P12 right now. Into the pit lane. Triggers that very distinctive pit lane alarm that the Nürburgring has.
Yes.
Whenever I hear that, I always think back to the Nürburgring 24 hours and having that one on in the background in summer nights from Germany. Matt Swain will re-inherit the race lead. And, oh, now what's happened to Tom Roberts on this lap? Tom Roberts has dropped down the order and I think has had a problem. Oh no, has Tom Roberts lost the chance to take second place in this race? Is it going to be another over-rotation from one of our GT3s? It is! Oh, another driver's error from one of our front runners. There goes Slijepcevic and Brown. Oh, Roberts nearly had a problem there coming back onto track. But another driver's error here tonight, Reeve. What is happening?
Who knows? It is a bizarre one there because it's fairly high speed. It's not a case of you expect it coming out of a low speed corner. You put your foot down. You got a big 5.4 litre V8 in one of those Mustangs. You get a bunch of torque and it kicks the back end out. But that's a decent amount of speed for that big rear wing to plant the car down with. It is a bizarre one to just see the back end just seems to snap out of the way. We've seen a lot of that from our front mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars, the likes of the Aston and the Mustangs this evening.
Oh, Slijepcevic! Oh, Slijepcevic in trouble. Reeve, he'd just taken second place away from Adam Brown. We were about to look at the replay. He's got damage. Significant damage on the number 42 Aston Martin, front and rear. What has happened here to Axel Slijepcevic, the early season favourite? Is he going to have another GT3 race with significant points loss like he had at Sebring? Well, this is why we say at the start of the season, irrespective of how someone's speed is in testing, the racing will prove whether there's going to be a title run from a big runner. My goodness me, Axel, I think some immense speed there. Up ahead, Jack Eyre. Well, he's lost the front clip, he's lost the rear clip. Let's have a look at how this... Well, let's first have a look at how Slijepcevic got through on Adam Brown, because I think this is all going to be much of the same. So it was into the S's. Slijepcevic gets through. Then is there going to be a further problem down the hill? No, not at that point. Everything is fine through that part of the course, but then something clearly happens through Dunlop Curve. This is all looking... Oh, is there a little touch on the rear there? Yes, there is. Oh, dear. So Adam Brown getting into the back of Axel Slijepcevic. And then the front of the rear, I don't know if that's actual damage. That might just be iRacing having a bit of a graphics moment.
It is a British sports car. Can't rule that out when it falls into bits. But I was impressed, but maybe, yeah, as you say, it isn't actual damage because the pace that Slijepcevic is demonstrating, despite that, is brave.
Seems to be fine.
It just looks.
Only in sim racing, folks, can this happen? Because, well, yeah, maybe it's just active weight shedding. Whoa, nearly loses it off the curb there, off of the Dunlop hairpin. Slijepcevic, I think, is in a mood now. He's in a state. Proven race winner, particularly in the BUKC. He's now having a look down the inside of Saunders. This is all over P5. Because Slijepcevic, now there was no front grip there, and now he's made contact with Andy Alston. Andy Alston's done brilliantly to hold on to that one. Will lose a couple of positions. Slijepcevic needs to be careful here, and he does the right thing. He's going to let Andy Alston back through. No lasting advantage there, unless Slijepcevic has now got more significant damage. This is a very strange night for Axel Slijepcevic. Arguably on pace, should have had 2 race wins tonight. He's going to have to come in. He's going to well, I hope he's not used his fast repair in his mandatory stop earlier. If he hasn't, he'll still have an opportunity to tow back. He's now towing back, having been in pit lane. This is very strange for Axel Slijepcevic, who is now showing in 35th place. Well,
this could be a defining moment in the championship. He didn't score many points at Sebring. I still think he's going to score more points here tonight at the Nürburgring, but it's not going to be the kind of tally that a championship campaign at this early stage of the season. We often say this in real life karting, don't we, Reeve, about dropped scores. They are there for later in the season. They are there for when you're pushing for a title and taking more risks. You don't want to use them in the first half of a championship campaign.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen so many championship decided, including even recently, decided based on what drivers can afford to drop, in effect. So it is a very unfortunate set of circumstances for Slijepcevic this early on, as you mentioned, given the pace that he has demonstrated this evening. He's right up there, right with the top drivers in terms of one lap pace. We've gone board with another top driver at the moment, Swain, who's having a much calmer run out there, it must be said, for the time being. Yeah, looking very comfortable indeed. 8 seconds is the margin down to Spinell in P2 on the road, and this is going to be a comfortable Premier win if things stay the way that they are.
And it's going to extend his championship lead. This is what we're talking about with keeping the consistency going. Whilst Matt Swain hasn't had a perfect night tonight, he's going to take the most amount of points as an individual from the round and another 120 for a race win, as long as he can get through this final lap. The sun nearly setting here at the Nürburgring. I do like it that we've managed to get the renderings right of similar to what we had at Knock Hill. Okay, we've not had any rain again so far this season, but beautiful autumn sunset conditions here, this time in Germany. How about Sam Spinell as well? On for P2
yeah,
at
what
the
a
moment.
drive.
And with the points being done by overall race position, and the likes of João Castro, we should note, is not running in this race and is not going to score points. These results tonight, Reeve, are going to turn, especially now we've had those drivers like Swain, like Max Andrews promoted up to Premier. Clubman is going to completely turn on its head in the championship standings.
Absolutely. This is what I was saying earlier on, right at the start of our broadcast, is that it's just so exciting when you head into this phase of the championship, because you really get into the thick of things and things start to take shape. But as it turns out, just not in the shape that we would have thought heading into around this evening. What a drive, though, for Matt Swain, who just further cements his position at the top end of that championship and is now going to be a protagonist in that championship, as I think we've had a retirement from Slijepcevic as well.
Yeah, Slijepcevic has not come back out onto circuit. Will score some points for this race, but not as many as he would have hoped, 5 or 6 minutes ago. But no problems for Matt Swain, championship leader, now a Premier driver, now going to be extending his championship lead and looking really, really good for the middle part of this season. Matt Swain wins at the Nürburgring and wins round 4 of the Club 100 iRacing Championship for the 25-26 season. Wins in the end comfortably by 7.8 seconds ahead of your Clubman race winner, Sam Spinell. Adam Brown third, but I would imagine that incident with Axel Slijepcevic is going to get looked at here. So Tom Roberts, well, at least has got a top 5 in that one. Could have more depending on how things go in the stewards' inquiries later on. Well, they'll be held tomorrow with support from sim staff. Tom Saunders, 5th place ahead of Jack Eyre. That's your 1, 2, 3 in the Clubman category. Solid points for Ronald Grossman as well. P8. Further down the order, I think John Adey's still going out there. There is John. He's just come over the line. He's our winner in the intermediate category. And Daniel Cook has taken the win in the rookies. Well, another very, very dramatic night. Just trying to find some more drivers coming over the line as we see them. This is Simon Delamere. We'll bring you your results in a moment. Reeve, a very different one. We've seen some really good racing tonight, but I think the topic and the trend of the evening has been so many uncharacteristic errors from top drivers up and down all of our different classes.
Absolutely, as you say, it really turns things on its head this round. I don't think anyone got the result they might have been expecting or anticipating heading in to this evening. It really was. I mean, such a roller coaster of an evening. You had the likes of debutants scoring podiums, followed by basically completely dropping off our scoreboards in front of us. So it is a really enthralling part of the championship to be involved in. I mean, to all you Nürburgring haters, I didn't say it wouldn't provide some fantastic action, did I?
No, it's I say the short circuit, the Grand Prix layout, the BSWEC layout, whatever you want to call it, it's delivered here tonight. Let's have a look at the race 2 results then. Not that part of it. I got the numbers wrong again. There we go. Matt Swain takes the win by just under 8 seconds ahead of Sam Spinell. Adam Brown on the overall podium, second in class. Tom Roberts, fourth overall, third in class. Tom Saunders, Jack Eyre, that's your top 6, top 3 as well. In the clubman category. Grossman, Watson, Alston, Weddle, all good points tonight. This was a night where, you know, if you weren't quite at the races in terms of A-game and right at the front, getting a couple of top 10s could set you up quite nicely for the middle part of the season. Max Andrews, P11, so it's still a decent score after that race 1 win, but Max Andrews does drop points to Matt Swain again, and is going to need to find a bit of strong form through the middle part of the season. We've got 2 more rounds, if I'm not mistaken, before we get to the Christmas and New Year break. You've got to feel that Max Andrews, when we go to Zolder next for the MX-5s, and then a new circuit in Portimao as well for the next GT3 race, Andrews has got to refine that kind of form that took him to the round victory at Navarra. Tim Ellis, better results for Tim Ellis tonight, P12 in that one. John Adey was your winner in intermediates within that race, P13 ahead of a solid result for Yusuf bin Sahel. Daniel Cook could well be another contender for moving up into the intermediate class from the rookies. Remember, that pathway is always open throughout the course of the season to give more drivers the opportunity of winning the prize drive. There's no prize drive available for the rookies, but either way, a rookie race win for Dan Cook there, P15, ahead of Matthew Shawnee, Lawrence Vines, and a credible drive there as well from Steve Hicks. First proper drive back, P18 for one of the stalwart premiers here tonight. David Whitehouse and Colin Ward, they completed the top 20. Ward second of the Ward second of the rookies, ahead of Sam Dimolo, Mike Hart, Tom Holland. Holland third in the rookies in that race. A good return for the Warwick University driver on his first run out of the season. James Fremont and Johnny Pinder in the top 25. Mitchell Lowe, Mignon, Delamere, Hale and Mock all in the top 30 and on the lead lap, as was Rick Wong, P31. Sean Patterson, tricky night tonight for Sean, P32. Then Ollie Walker, a difficult night as well, a bit of a bounce and a bump back down to earth after a great knock hill, P33. Axel Slijepcevic, though, what a result that is. A dramatic turnaround. Was looking at P2. In the end, it's P34 in that second race of the night for the driver of the number 42. Kira Boylan 35th ahead of Robert Crawford. And then the rest of the runners in that one. Retirements for Peter Knight, Aaron Singh, Joel Julius, Magnus Riddervold, Joao Castro and Asan Iqbal. Reeve, what a night for your first GT3 commentary appearance of the season. And Zolder next for the MX-5s, which should be an interesting one.
Oh, it should be. I love watching those little masters skip around a fantastic circuit like Zolder, so I'm looking forward to that in a fortnight's time. But yeah, what a real treat for myself here at the Nürburgring with our GT3s as well. Hats off to all the drivers. As you say, they there was a few uncharacteristic mistakes here, but other than that, I think drivers, going for those overtakes when they could. We saw some really strong racing at other moments. I think back to that swarm of Mustangs around Grossman in the Ferrari there, where we saw about 8 cars occupying the same part of the track, and it was a fantastic bit of racing. So thank you everyone involved.
Absolutely. So, as we say, the next round is 2 weeks' time at Zolder. Now, at the moment, we are sold out, but we can still take reserve slots. So, if you do want to get on the grid, remember, if you've got a racing history in Club 100 or the BUKC, you are eligible. If you are a current driver in the British Pro Kart Endurance Championship, you are eligible. If you are a firm relation, mum, dad, auntie, uncle, grandparent, whatever it may be, to one of the pre-mentioned ones, you are eligible. If you are the member of a BUKC affiliated university society, you are eligible. And also, you just simply have a Motorsport UK esports license, you are eligible as well to join the fun. We are also getting into the stage of the year where we will actually we'll be trying to get our heads together as admin team to plan what comes after this championship. When we wrap up towards the end of February, early March, getting into of course main in real life racing season, we do want to keep the community keep it going. So if you've got any ideas of what you would like to race in, it won't be for the big prizes that we have here, of course, but we do want to keep that racing community going until we come round to the end of summer next year to hopefully start getting on with the 26-27 Club 100 iRacing season. Basically, get involved. Give the SimGrid page a good follow. All of our events get put up on there. And also make sure you're following at @MM. That's where we get all of the public communications out on social media tonight. If you've enjoyed his commentary, at RT Media. Is it RT Media UK? Have I just had...
It is indeed.
I thought I just had a bit of a brain melt there, but no, at RT Media UK for Reeve, at Andrew Mather commentary for myself. We should note as well, we have one more in real life DDMM commentary of the season. It will be Sunday with our good friends at Alpha Live. Myself and Jacob Harris will be giving you the lowdown on the last Club 100 event of the year. Normally we have an experience race after the final round of senior sprints, but that's not the case this year. So the last bit of Club 100 action of any description for 2025 as a calendar year will be Sunday on your Alpha Live broadcast. Championship's still up for grabs. Tickets to the Road Tax Racing Club International Finals in Genk next year up for grabs. Keep an eye out for in fact, I think some of it's already on the social media. Top 10 now qualifying from the senior sprints to the biggest party in arrive and drive karting in Belgium next May. And for those of you involved in a British Kart Championships capacity and the British Indoor Karting Championship capacity, I will see you at Silverstone in the wing in all our finest on Saturday evening for the awards. Do very much looking forward to that. And if you're at Kart Mania this weekend as well, I might be snooping around on Saturday morning. Do go and check out the Club 100 stand. Molly and JV, Will be there, Molly will be there, JV will be at Bookmore for the SP40 and the SP60 season finale on the Saturday. But basically, if you want to get involved in Club 100, get down to Kart Mania. I think it's £18 a ticket, and you can buy them on the door as well. Do go down and have a chat. The registrations are filling up. But there we go. I think that's again all the parish notices covered. But Reeve will be back in 2 weeks' time, won't we, for a bit of Belgian action. Zolder, of course, in topical discussion at the moment with the 23 Hours of Zolder, run by Jimmy Broadbent and all the great efforts for Mind just last weekend. And actually the first time that these championships will be running around that circuit. We had to have a Belgian circuit in there, but we've done Spa-Francorchamps enough over the last few years.
Absolutely, very much looking forward to heading back to Zolder. Been a little while actually since I've commentated anything at Zolder. It was an old classic car championship in sim racing, probably about 4 years ago, maybe even COVID itself. So looking forward to heading back out for that one.
Absolutely. So as we say, that'll be 2 weeks' time, 7:20 p.m. UK time. You'll be able to tune in. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. Whatever you're doing, the rest of your week, do you hope you have a good one. For those of you at Silverstone on Saturday, I'll see you there. And for those of you at Bookmore on Sunday, we'll see you there as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.